Holler if you hear me, and welcome to this week's edition of Luke Shocks, where the headlines keep on coming, so I keep on coming up to knock them down. The US Senate voted to pass the No Tax on Tips Act unanimously, as latte liberals all over the country are now demanding all government be reduced in size. A father who rescued his 9-year-old daughter from her school flooding in Westernport, Maryland, is now under fire for the fact that he did this while refusing to adhere to the authorities. The fact that the school also was flooded deliberately by a teacher mad because they couldn't get away with grooming a student is another story in and of itself. Pete Hegseth is refusing to apologize to the press for hosting a prayer to all military servicemen. And he's doing this by refusing to apologize to the same press that were defending teachers now getting away with being able to abuse their students and the parents not knowing about it. A 100-year-old World War II veteran is now in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the oldest competitive bodybuilder, showing that even 100-year-old men are more masculine and more competitive than Seth Rogen. Officials in the Biden administration have now been exposed for knowing that there were dangerous risks to the COVID vaccines and were repressing all of the info, while they are the same DNC that still pretends to have the balls to criticize anybody that's Republican of not believing in science and hating people who think differently from them. Morris the alligator, known as the alligator that bit off the hand of Carl Weathers in the film Happy Gilmore, tragically died at the age of 80, leaving behind an acting legacy of just taking up space in the frame as a prop for awkward fight scenes, and all the most important things that this character ever did were all things that happened years ago and are only talked about instead of actually shown, basically making this alligator the prototype for Black Widow in the MCU. A man named Joe Berger and a woman named Ashley King got married recently, and their wedding was paid for by Burger King, while McDonald's is scouring all of Ireland for anybody with names like Big Mac and McDonald's so that they could pay for their wedding to compete with this. And Bruce Springstein made a statement declaring the current White House as authoritarian during a concert in the UK. Of course, the fact that he said this while a white woman was getting arrested in London for calling the Muslims who forced themselves on her in the middle of a street mean names is something that will not be acknowledged by the man who keeps on calling himself the boss. Because yes, with Bruce Springsteen, you really get an example of the whole political left end of media and entertainment elites right there in a single nutshell. Somebody who is decades past their prime, but is still pathetically going all around the world, clinging to life and clinging to the illusion that they still are relevant and that they still have authority or any kind of power, because they want to talk about how much they speak truth to power, yet really it was all a matter of they just wanted their seat at the table with the elites. Mr. Bruce Springsteen, the man who, like I said, calls himself the boss, kept calling himself that, built his whole brand as a singer, songwriter, and all that on the back of being the real hardcore American guy in the time of the 70s and the 80s, when whether it was disco, whether it was heavy metal, whether it was glam metal, whether it was pop singing, all of those, from Kiss to Motley Crue to Madonna and Michael Jackson, were built on all the polish, all the showmanship on stage, fireworks and dance choreography and elaborate makeup, Tommy Lee doing his drum lines upside down in a big steel cage with sexy backup dancers in tight little leather outfits or slutty nurse costumes, and then you had Bruce Springsteen and his E Street Band, just some guys who were a bar band out there in the American Northeast that showed up in jeans and flannel shirts, just playing along to their music, and that was what you came out to the concert to see. Just them going along there playing Born to Run or Born in the USA. Except if you actually paid attention to the lyrics of Born in the USA, something that actually was accurate when it came to Springsteen bashing a Republican president at the time was when Ronald Reagan used Springsteen's Born in the USA as a campaign song, even though Springsteen publicly rejected it because the actual lyrics are all about a JFK-style blue-collar Democrat who fell for all the hypnosis of the Kennedys because, oh, he was Catholic, that means we gotta go and vote for him. And that whole blue-collar generation of the Democrats, who are just as much elitist authoritarian pricks and statist pricks as they were now, it's just that back then they were able to appeal to working-class voters. And in that generation of those working-class voters that Springsteen and his friends were all a part of, were the type where it was all about America is so great, what can you do for your country? when a Democrat's in the White House. But the second a Democrat's not in the White House, then any little thing wrong with America is to be blamed on a Republican. And that every single tragedy of American history is always going to be reframed as the fault of a Republican. And it's always government bad, speak truth to power, so long as a Republican is in the White House. That is how it has always been with people like Springstein, and them being the type of Bill Clinton Americans, where they can be as corrupt, they can be as vile, they can have all the connections to all the most disgusting people on earth, but so long as they agree in all situations with the ever-changing philosophical and political views of the left, which all actually build down to not having any real set morals or ethics or standards of behavior. This is the same party that was all about no blood for oil, that now we're demanding that anybody that even questions American military funding of the Ukraine should be put in jail as a dangerous, subversive person. But these are all fun little facts and figures that a guy like Springsteen will not bring up. Because remember, this is Springsteen wanting to show how brave he is by speaking truth to power from a concert. Yes, from the comfort of a concert. You're going there to see the boss perform, and you're getting hit with his lefty Hollywood liberal political messaging, even though he's speaking truth to power about a evil presidency because it's a Republican in the White House, but also he's doing it from the UK. There's two things right here to bring about. Being rushed all the way over there so that he can go and speak truth to power from behind the apparition of being in a completely different country. But also doing it in the UK, where people get arrested for posting memes that the government doesn't like. Where a man got arrested from some Karen calling the police on him because a man in a London karaoke bar was singing Kung Fu Fighting. Where you have actual roving gangs of Islamic illegals that are forcing themselves on little girls in public while chanting scripture from the Quran, and the police are getting caught doing everything they can to cover up these crimes and not arresting these men, with the actual Londoners, real English people, being really angry at these people getting protected from the crimes that they deserve to be arrested and sentenced for. Almost as if, when you boil down to it, people, great or small, all don't like a government that will actively go and try to punish them for success, and actively don't like a government that will go out of its way to get involved in every single detail of your life and do everything they can to punish you for having the wrong worldview, and random scuzzy criminal thugs that they will flood into the country to ethnically replace you because they expect that those people will be their glorified little labor class, their voter class that will keep illegally keeping them in power. In case you're wondering why, these are the kind of people that, besides defending Islamists who want to go out there, who will do everything they can to defend Muslim groomer gangs right there in the streets of London, and yet 18 white people from South Africa coming to America get them into a wild, crazy fit of rage. Now you know why. If anything, another abiding moral and or ethic of your people out there on the left. What is it? It's always a matter of rules for thee, but not for me. And that's not my opinion. I know I'm right. So I want to thank you for watching. Subscribe so my channel hits 10,000 subs. Become a member today and shop at my art store with the second link below, where you can buy my art or commission me, or you can celebrate and contribute right to what we do here with a little donation directly in the store. So until then, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it. It's you, Space Cowboy.